We've repaired lamps before on a repair to remember, but we've never taken on a toaster, for example, or other small appliances that if you live in certain households, the cords get melted, or, you know, like most of our appliances at our house, the cords have at some point come into contact with a hot element. So here's the thing, this is an old toaster. Now, this toaster probably served a fine family for 40 years, and then it kind of went, you know, the cord got maybe caught in a few things, and it's not in very good shape anymore. And it's still a completely serviceable toaster. It just needs a new cord. People call this cloth cord or silk cord. The outer casing is cotton, and then inside it's insulated with silk. To replace that cord, you have to go to the hardware store and get heater cord, which looks like this. Usually in white printing somewhere on the cord, it'll say heater cord, heater cord. There's usually some kind of a screw on the bottom that'll help you figure out how to get the crumb drawer open. There it is. The door itself comes off by bending this pin and sliding it out one end and removing it. Ooh, it's a crumb nightmare in there. And there's also there's kind of a cat hair thing going on inside the toaster, so we'll just take a brush and get rid of that. You know, this just proves my theory that when you're out of the house, cats make toast. They do it every time. And have you ever noticed how the pizza boxes pile up? Your cat probably has a Visa card and you don't even know it. The business end of this toaster is underneath this little, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a plate of some sort. And you can see those two little screws are holding it down. So I'm going to remove them. Those are oh. I don't even know the business end of a toaster, because here I am. This is the cord. I just obviously am not concentrating here. So this is the business end of the toaster. It's a wonder I don't have children, eh? Oh, gee. Careful now. Okay, there's that little fellow. Men have traditionally always called boats and cars and various parts of things girls. They always say, oh, that'll keep her, and she's looking good today. And they're talking about, you know, a piece of wood or something, or a boat. These things are definitely male. Okay, so these are little fellas right here. These two little screw terminals are the business end of the toaster. So we just need to get those off. Now, this is a very specialized tool. You likely don't have one of these, so you'll just have to use pliers to get these off. This little bracket is holding the cord in place, so I'm going to loosen that off a bit. So really, this is just a, you know, depending on what it is you're trying to fix, it's just a puzzle. You'll figure it out slowly but surely. There's always going to be somewhere in the appliance grate 2 screw terminals that you have to hook up to, and that's really it. All right, so now I take my new cord, and now learn from me. What I always do is I slit the cord first, and then I end up having to feed it through a tricky hole. Feed it through the hole first, and then split it later. So there's the hole. The cable easily goes through. So now I can slit the wire, cord, cable, whatever we'd like to call it. There's a lot of insulation on this cable. See the copper wires in the middle? There's quite a lot of insulation on it. There's quite a lot of current going through to heat the elements in this toaster. And the insulation heats up quite a bit, so they make it a little bit thicker for heater cable. That's why you want to buy the heater cord and not the lightweight stuff. And I'll strip away the insulation. Then twist the wire in a clockwise direction. And if you've got a fine little screwdriver, just use it to form a little loop at the end of the wire. It's easier than doing it with your fingers, and it keeps the twisted wires in place better. All right, and then put the wire around the screw terminal in a clockwise direction. It helps when you're tightening the nut on to have it going in the same direction. Okay, so here's a tip for you. See how it's not really making contact? The wire squeezed out from between the washers, even though I was trying to be really careful. So on the second one, I'm going to have to go back and fix this one too, but I wanted to show you. Make the wire longer than what I showed before. It's a full inch here. And then you still make the same loop, but you loop it right back to the insulation and then give it a twist. So I'm going to slip this little noose over the screw terminal rather than trying to work with a loop, which on the old cord, the little things were soldered, and that kept the wire together. But we don't have the luxury here, so that loop thing works really, really well. So I'll be using that. All right, so I'm just going to finish tightening down the strain relief bracket. Okay, last step is putting the new plug on the end. Always put the housing on the cord before you go too much farther, because half the time you end up having this left over at the end, and it's just one of those things that you blame yourself for, and that's because it's your fault, you see. So same thing here. I'm just going to attach, strip the cable and attach one side to each of these two little screw terminals and pull the thing down over it and reattach the plastic insulation with these two little screws, and I'm on my way. Okay, there's my brand new plug. All right, now if you want to improve the physical appearance of the toaster, use this cotton wadding stuff. It has a solvent embedded in the fibers, and it smells badly, so it's one of those things you'd want to use a glove for. And you just take a wad of the wadding, that's hence the name, and you can see it, you just rub it on, and it takes off, well, it won't take off burnt-on toaster grease, but it buffs up the surface really nicely. Then you just take a cloth, and the wadding can be used on the enamel surface too. And it's a great thing to have around the house for any crumb. And then check out some of these things though, they're beautiful. Like, look, early attempts by the electric companies to make us use more electricity, and didn't it just work? I mean, they don't really have a problem anymore, do they, with their daytime electricity usage? So, and it all began with the humble toaster. It's so admirable to fix old appliances, or even not so old but slightly broken. Remember, you can reverse the consumer trend that started in 1908 simply by starting to fix things and not just using them up over and over again. Okay, irritation level fairly high.